Hi guys, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Clearly having fun.
How are you, man?
Man, look at this background. Wow.
Right? I try and go nice. First thing first, we kind of have to talk about season 1 was so kind of bonkers and wild, and you might think there might be some pressure then for season 2 to kind of have to up the ante. What was the biggest challenge kind of going from season 1 to season 2?
I think that maintaining something that was as good, if not better, is really scary. I was really stressed making season 2 because I was so happy with how season 1 turned out, and it was so well received that you don't want to be the one-hit wonder.
Billy and Huey were kind of that, quasi father and son thing, but Mother's Milk kind of steps in a little bit and kind of becomes that mentor just a bit while Billy's gone, and then he comes back and it's this whole kind of dysfunctional family. How does that continue to be a theme throughout the season, or is Mother's Milk just trying to get the canary back?
Wow, that's a great question. I think that the family element is definitely prominent throughout the whole season, to the point where you get to see flashbacks of how our family was in the first iteration of The Boys, before we disbanded and Billy put us back together, back when, Frenchie and I got along. Little things like that you get to see in season 2. Right
off the bat, you guys were one of the best pairings in season 1. It's you guys are just delightful on screen together, and we're looking forward to seeing that in season 2. But how would you say the relationship between you guys changes in season 2?
And as far as their relationships, Mother's Milk is more the nurturer, whereas Billy is more the stern father figure, disciplinarian, just go.
I think in season 1 it's pretty honest and straightforward. Kimiko needs Frenchie, and Frenchie in a very unconditional, loving way needs Kimiko as well. And in season 2, we see the two of them growing apart a little bit, and it comes from a place of actually for Kimiko, it comes from her wanting to be her own person and find her own path and individuality outside of Frenchie.
It really explores loyalty within a family, acceptance within the family, and you know what? We're not perfect, but we're what we've got.
So there's a little bit of clashing that goes on, but yeah. How's your perspective, Tomer Capon? Tomer! This is your thing. Tomer.
By the same respect, because I've done this job for a while, the first mistake that showrunners make is they try to make a season 2 bigger, and that's ultimately unsustainable, because even if you can pull it off, you jump the shark by season 3. And so I thought, I attacked this season with let's not go bigger, let's go deeper. Let's be more intense. Let's corner all of our characters. Let's have them all let's put them all under the most pressure we possibly can. And then let's see what comes out and how they reveal new facets of who they are.
So there's, in season 2, relatively early on, there's a really cool moment between A-Train and Starlight, where he has a really great exchange about, how people who always had money view it, and with some things that kind of happen there. And that's one of the most interesting pairings, actually, of the early season so far, is Starlight and A-Train. What can you kind of tell us about, their dynamic as the season goes on? And is there one character that learns more from the other?
Ooh, you know what? I think honestly, Starlight might learn more from A-Train, because this is the first time that she's got a chance to. She doesn't necessarily ask questions, but she has questions that get answered in season 2. So I think she learns a little bit more about who he is and why he is the way that he is based on the series of events that play out. But they have a very interesting dynamic because neither one of them trust each other, but they know that they kind of need something from one another. They just don't know what it is.
My perspective on things is it goes like this. I feel like starting season 2. I don't want to say Frenchie's in a comfort zone, but he kind of feels good with his relationship with Kimiko. I mean, he was so lost in season 1, and then he found, like, you know, his mirroring, his soulmate, is not in a romantic or brotherly way, just a spiritual connection to someone who understands without talking even his pain, his trauma. And starting season 2, I think with the relationship, he feels like it's an anchor for him in so many levels. But girls want to grow up. She wanna spread her wings, and she wanna find her own voice. And I think it's not easy for Frenchie to accept that, and because of the reason that it puts him in a position that he has to deal with his own demons.
You know, they're constantly playing this ongoing game of chess of, like, who's going to have the advantage over the other person, and when are they going to need to use that advantage. And it just allows for a lot of back and forth, some teeter-totter, you know, some exploitation and some blackmail, and there's all these things, but at the same time they kind of need each other. It's a complex situation to be in.
For Billy, especially after the end of the last season, you know, there's all this, you know, with Rebecca popping back up, and now there's a son in the picture, and Homelander. How does his view of Homelander or his approach to Homelander change because of all that happened in season 1?
Well, I mean, you know, there's a definite evolution for Billy Butcher when it comes to how he, the lens in which he views Homelander through, and it certainly doesn't, you know, endear Homelander to him in any way, shape, or form.
Homelander is kind of playing house a little bit, kind of badly, for honest. Early on, you know, what is, I guess, what will fans learn most about Homelander through this kind of dynamic with his son and this kind of father-son thing?
Initially, that he is not built to be a parent, at least not a good one. And then I think, you know, the good thing about that relationship is because it challenges Homelander so much, you know, he's forced into a situation where he's got to adapt, and he's got to discover some new layers to himself. So there's a lot that comes out of that relationship, and maybe even a hint of vulnerability.
Butcher's main focus and priority right now is to get his wife back, and, you know, Homelander is on the back burner for now. So that's sort of really, you know, this is a very sort of deep and interesting journey that Butcher is forced to go on this season. You know, in trying to get his wife back, he's forced to come face to face with some of the darkest aspects of his humanity, and we as an audience come to understand that, you know, he was a pretty sick puppy well before he met Becca, and you know, he was always just you know, one train ride away from an absolute wreck.
That's where the whole origin story opens up, and we get this amazing story about these two amazing characters.
Well, you know, we kind of see, you know, Billy, of course, has a bone to pick with the Seven. Huey does too, and everybody does. But, you know, in season 2, you know, from what we've kind of seen so far, it feels like, you know, Frenchie and Kimiko will also kind of, that angst and that anger and frustration with the Seven will also kind of pick up. You know, what can you kind of tease about how you guys view the Seven and how the vendetta will increase with your characters?
Let's just say I give it a title, Kamiko's Revenge.
You already have some of the most quotable lines in the whole, in like the whole 2 seasons. It's amazing. And some of them occurred during a press junket just like this. You know, kind of, you feel like the only one that can really keep Homelander in check. Why do you think that is? You know, and what can you tease about kind of the evolving relationship between you guys?
I think she's not scared of him, and there's really no one in the world who is not scared of him. And I think she's not scared of him because she is as strong or almost as strong as him, so she's not intimidated by his powers. But I also think that she reads him really well, and I think she's there to get under his skin and to show him that there's a new boss in town and there's a different way to lead.
Like everything with the boys, it feels like.
Like everything.
Chace, you know, the Deep had one of the most memorable moments in the first season with the poor dolphin. And did you feel like that moment was going to take off like it did? And how, is there something, without spoilers, of course, but is there something that tops that in season 2?
Oh, man. No, I didn't know that it was going to, you know, sort of be that. I was worried that they were going to cut it. I mean, I was worried that it wasn't going to work or something. And somehow they found this animatronic dolphin in Los Angeles and had it shipped. And there was 2 guys like pumping it, moving these levers and moving it. And I'm, you know, they're spritzing it down. I'm spritzing it down. And when I heard the Video Village crack up over there, I'm like, we might, you know, it might be onto something at least, you know, where it's going to work.
Well, and do you view, like, does Billy view that child as his son now that he knows about him? Like, I know, of course, obviously, like the Homelander part of it, but, you know, is when he finds Becca, like, would he look at that as like, that's my family?
Well, you know, without giving too much away, you have to know that, you know, Billy Butcher has a very clear, specific view of Supes. And he does not like them, and you know, his wife's son is a Supe, so you know that's you know, that prejudice is part of the fabric of the character, and you know, it's not one that is easily brushed aside in any circumstance, and particularly not this one.
Does Homelander look at Stormfront as a I guess maybe a possible ally or as a threat?
Threat, very much as a threat. And, you know, she is right. You know, she's a match. I don't, who knows who would win in the fist fight, but I think Homelander may have the edge, but what's really difficult, they're very equally matched, but she has the edge because I think she's smarter and she's more relevant and timely and has a sensibility that Homelander doesn't have. And he doesn't know how to deal with it. So she's a bit of a Rubik's Cube to show my age. She's a bit of a Rubik's Cube for him to fiddle around with and figure out, but inevitably he will figure her out and, you know, there will be carnage.
It's such an original out there thing, and it was really funny, you know, for the character as well. But you know, they did. It's in the trailer, I think, a little bit. There's a whale this year that they did. There's a few other moments that are definitely pretty out there as well. So yeah, season 2, I think they went for it and went bigger.
What does Stormfront think of Starlight? And if Stormfront had control of the 7, do whatever she wanted with them as a team, what would she change?
I think Stormfront thinks that Starlight is a sweet little nothing girl that she doesn't need to be bothered with. Starlight sort of appears to want to be mentored by Stormfront, and Stormfront's like, you can figure it out yourself, sweetie. It's not that hard. Just do the thing that you think is right. Don't say yes to everything. You don't have to be wearing that outfit if you don't want to. You're the one who put it on in the morning. So I think she thinks of Starlight as as nothing, as a bit of fluff. I think that changes over the season, but she definitely sort of dismisses her. And then if she was in charge of the 7, I think all of them would be out, except maybe Homelander, because I think she respects his strength. And I think she ultimately thinks she can dominate him. And if she can be in control, then she wants him around because she respects power and those beautiful blue eyes.
Well, and you kind of brought up that there's so many interesting dynamics between these characters. You want to get them kind of all together as soon as possible so you can start playing off those things. And in season 2, we have a lot of interesting, possible matchups anyway. It's Homelander and Billy, of course, and then we've got the rocky marriage, so to speak, of Billy and Huey, and then we have Homelander and Stormfront now, and then we got so many other characters. So I guess, kind of going through as we're plotting season 2, what was the duo dynamic that kind of maybe, you didn't expect as much from, and then by the end of the season, it just ends up kind of stealing the show?
What an interesting question. I think the Stormfront Homelander run, it takes some like hilarious twists and turns, and they play really well off each other. I really like that one. I thought the Butcher Becca relationship is really heartbreaking this year. I think it reveals like a lot of pain in Butcher that I don't think we were expecting. But we also had some really part of the fun of having a show go a couple seasons is you could just start playing the game of like, what's an unexpected pairing, and then make it happen, just for an episode or so. So like we put Starlight and Butcher together for that reason. We put them on a mission together because those two hate each other. And we also put Starlight with Mother's Milk for an episode, which is a really interesting pairing.
Oh, nice.
And so, it's just part of it is just mixing it up and playing with who goes with who. And you get some, really interesting scenes out of that.
Is there a world where, you're playing Billy and Dredd at the same time?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. That'd be rad, wouldn't it? I'd dearly love to get into those boots again, and so we'll have to wait and see.
How do you top a calendar? Do we get a plush Gil somewhere?
That's the best idea I've heard.
Yes,
plush
it's mine.
Gil. That's pretty awesome.
Also, Homelander has got to stop with the milk.
No, I'm gonna start advertising milk. Right off his, I'm gonna be on
my God.
bottles.
Kimiko's wrath.
Oh, that's very good too. Okay, wrath or revenge? Which is the high note?
Riff raft.